this is my dance evaluation, tap evaluation, more precise. I'll start off with some of the basics, like some of the skills and my strengths and the stuff that I've developed over this time. Throughout all these rehearsals, I've developed quite a lot. Like, I've learned a lot more steps, and to get my like retention of steps and everything, that's got better, much better. How accurately I perform the movements and stuff, that's got a lot better. How I feel the music, how I get myself prepared for it, like practicing at home has helped a lot as well, and basically just getting a lot better at it, because especially with the accuracy of the steps, like before, like with for example, when we was doing a double time step, I used to throw my legs really far and put my feet out really far every time we had to do a kick or a shuffle, and proper kick it out far. But now I've pulled it into myself, and when I do on a triple time step, I shuffle forward for the first shuffle, and then I shuffle to the side, because I find that I can tap a lot better shifting with it to the side, and it looks a bit better as well in personal. That's personal opinion. I think with vocal direction I've got better. Like before, I was trying to think of different. I'd be thinking of different steps when I was told to do something, but now, if you tell me to do a step, I could do it without that much thinking. So that's quite it. We did we've done a lot of work on technique, and doing different steps a little bit more intricately, done the bar exercises, and like starting off with like cramp rolls and stuff like that. I used to do it a lot wider, and I used to not be able to do it very well, but now it's got a lot better, and it's a lot neater, and it's a lot faster, and it's and all my steps have just picked up a lot. Wings as well, they're quite difficult. No, when we're doing preparation for wings and stuff, that's got a lot better for me personally. But I wouldn't have done it that well before. Like if I'd tried to do wings before, preparation for wings, before we had all these lessons this term, then I don't think I've had a cat and nails chance of doing them very well. Because it's a lot how you place your feet and everything like that, where before I was just focusing on making a sound, as well as I could, like making my clarity quite loud, which is why my clarity is quite good now, I believe, because I focus so much on just the clarity rather than the steps before. Now I focus on the movement with the ability of like making my steps really clear as well, like the sounds. My knowledge of tap has increased, and what it's all about, and how the difference between American style and British style is quite a lot different. Like, I personally prefer American tap, American style, not just because we've mainly been learning it, but because I like the grounded feel. I like the smoothness. I'm not best keen on like being raised and on my toes and everything like that. I just don't prefer it. Initially, I'd get worried about like choreography and stuff. We did a tap to Roxanne when I'd done it before, and I found that really difficult, and it was kind of daunting when we first started tap. Started tap this year, as much as I loved it, I really do love it, but I was still worried about a lot of it. Like, I enjoyed doing it, but I wasn't that great at it. But I think since Georgie's gone over everything and gone over steps and gone over everything that we like more and more, and tailored it to us and made it a lot challenged us, but then made it a lot better for us as well, and that's helped a massive amount. In general, just overall, I've improved so much, and I am really happy actually. I've now choreographed my own tap little dance, like phrase, and that's made me happy. I didn't think I could. But it's quite good. What? Well, I'll speak about that now. The solo one. Well, initially, when we were told to bring in a song, I thought it would be like a group thing that we'd probably work on, and then we'd probably go on to like choreography on our own. So I brought in the bingo player's rattle because it's got a very samey beat all the way through, and I thought we could work with it. But then when I realised I had to completely choreograph a little routine to it, I found that quite I really wanted to change my song, but at the same time I didn't want to back out of any challenges, so I carried on doing it over and over again, and adding little steps in. And I did use a lot of the steps I used in that were ones from the exercises that we'd done, like all the tap technique exercises we do in tap lessons. There were a lot of them that were just moved from that because they fit with the music, and it felt right to do them. But then eventually I added my own little thing in, which was, at its core, it was a basic hop shuffle 4 times, and that was all it was. But when I did it to put my own spin on it, I turned 90 degrees each time, so it was like hop shuffle, like go round in a circle, and I thought it looked really good, and I was really I initially really wanted to do it, because I couldn't physically do it. I couldn't get my feet right, I couldn't do it, and I really wanted it in, but then I removed it because I didn't feel confident with it enough, because I never actually finished it once properly. But then when it actually came to the day, my feedback were to add it back in, and my skills obviously improved quite a bit since I took it out, because when I actually did it on the day, it went really well, and I did the full thing that I wanted to, and that made me happy. And that's one of the things where I feel like I've really shown a big improvement in, because as well with the time step that I've got in it was originally just a double time step, but now I shifted it up to a triple for the final one as well, just to challenge myself that little more, and it worked, and that made me happy. It did. Since we're talking about technique exercises, I'll go to that next. Again, I've improved quite a lot. I'm going over improvements. I'm going over all my improvements first, and then I'll go onto the downside. Technique exercises. Again, I really enjoy doing them, so I don't really have that much of a problem with doing them over and over again. And I think because of that attitude, I've just got better at them naturally, really. Like with again with crab rolls, and the only thing that I still find really difficult is pickups on 2 feet, which I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I can't do it very well. I just can't. I'm more than willing to try more and more should I need to again. But it was just something that I found really difficult, and I didn't really improve on that at all. Cramp rolls, I took direction, I took feedback and worked it in every single week. I tried to improve as much as I could over every week with the feedback that I did get given. Then moving on to like the 4-beat riff and 5-beat riff, and then 4-beat riffle. I started off, I was a bit, because I used to throw my legs quite a lot, and I used to move my legs a lot more than I should have done. I found these quite hard at the beginning to get it in the right time, and Georgie had said that I need to speed up a little bit to fit with the music. But as time's gone on, I've got used to the beat of the song, and I've neatened up my movements a little bit. I can now do it properly. There's still, like, because of my balance and stuff, there's still times where I do like slip up, like, because we constantly have to walk, but I have to keep shifting my weight and stuff like that, and when that happens, my balance sometimes goes off, which isn't the best thing, but like that. But in general, they have been really good. And then going on to Couple Spring, they, to be fair, I think I've been fine with them quite a while, from the start, really. I found it a little bit hard adding the arms in, but I still did it, and I thought one of my things is adding arms and feet at the same time, but because I know the movements so well with my feet, like it's kind of like muscle memory, and both my arms do the same thing, like that. They're both doing the same thing, so it's not too much of an overload. So I've managed to add that in. I found the fast ones quite difficult though, and time steps. I'm so proud that I've come this far with time steps. I never thought I'd ever be able to do a triple. But with practice and going over again and again and again and again, I've actually managed to do them, and I can do them confidently now. So I'm really happy with that. Next part would be going on to the routine, the cup song routine. Going over this slowly from the beginning was like the steps themselves. They're okay. Like, I'm okay with doing the steps themselves. I didn't really have that much of a problem with the steps themselves, but apart from the bit where we tap step ball, change, tap, hop, toe, hop. That part was, I found quite difficult to do at first. It's a lot of movements, like different feet and different areas of the feet all crammed into a short space of time. I found that really difficult at first, but then I picked it up over the weeks. The timing was quite difficult, like the timing for the song itself, so we had to try and every single movement we did, even the ones that were a bit more difficult, we still had to get them into the exact time of the song, or it'll just sound weird and not feel right at all. With the group in general, I think we all worked really, really well doing the cup song. It was a good song to do because it did challenge us all a lot, but then it wasn't too advanced to make it really difficult and throw us all off. So I think that's kind of good that we did that song itself. And then when we added the choreography that we both made in, that was when we split up into two groups, we made 2 different areas of choreography, two different dances. two little small phrases that we put into the actual song itself, and they were quite hard to fit together. I found that quite difficult, but again, with practice, it's got a lot better. It's just been improving every week. I know a lot of what I'm saying now is improved and improved and improved and improved and improved. I'll go on to the negatives a little bit later. But it was really fun to do. I suppose after 3 hours of jazz in the morning, and then probably 2 hours worth of tap in the afternoon, and then moving on to the cup song, that was a bit of a bad one because we was all knackered from dance, like 5-6 hours of just pure dancing and stuff. It's kind of hard to keep the drive and energy up after that amount of time. But again, it's something we all fought past, and we finished the routine. And even though we were quite grumpy at times and it was hard to do, we still nailed it as a group, and that was all for doing it. Okay, so I'll move on to my areas for like improvement. My areas for improvement would be, my biggest one would be probably character. Character is a big thing for me because of like the struggle I face with trying to get movements right anyway. I find it hard to focus on putting a smiley face on in character, even though it's like, if Georgie says, well, it doesn't matter if you don't get the movements right, as long as your face is right, as long as your character is right, as long as you're performing it right, no one really cares about your movement. But I can't really do that well, because to do any movements at all, I have to really focus. So that's something I'm going to have to really work on. There was times where I could like have a bit of a laugh during the routine and stuff, but I don't think I could keep a character on all the way through a routine as of yet. But it is something that I worked on quite a lot, and tried to make sure that I portray the right emotion and portray the right performance that fits the song. After showing the actual routine itself to family and friends, I think they basically just said that it was character. They said, oh yeah, your steps are okay, and blah blah blah. I mean, even though I did slip up a couple of times in the filming of the one that I did show, they said basically you need to show a bit more character and get your face involved, because they weren't watching the movements that much. They were watching the area, like watching my face and how I was looking during it. So that was a bit of an eye opener as well. I think if we were given the chance to do a performance over again, I would definitely now, if I'd known all the steps that I've got now, I'd definitely try and work on character a lot more. Like if we'd had a couple more weeks in tap, let's say, I'd try and focus on character rather than the movements for like a week or so, and then they'd probably flow into each other, and maybe, just maybe, it'd go really well. But other than that, I think I do need to work on. It's just popped up. There was one of the movements, which was like one I was saying earlier. The shuffle will change hop, toe, hop, stamp, and then go into the drop, shuffle, spring, clap, clap. That was it. Yeah, it was that part. I found it really transitioning into that movement. That was one I slipped up on a lot, and I practiced quite a lot, and I still slipped up, and that's where I slipped up on the recording. I should have gone over it a bit more, and I should have worked on that a lot more, and given the chance. My other areas for improvement is general just technique and neaten it up even more. Make sure I stick at everything constantly and make sure I go over things at home and don't just forget about it between each week, which is the main thing. Professionalism overall in the group is great. There's obviously the odd time where we each have a little bit of a, not like a hissy fit, but we have a bit of a grumpy sesh, because we are tired. There's no dispute about that. We are tired after a long day of constantly dance, especially stuff where it's not like going over just one routine over and over again and all that stuff. They're all routines, and it's mentally draining as well as physically. So I mean, we do have a little grumpy moments sometimes, but I think professionalism as a group we've done really well. Personal professionalism, I always turn up in my in my best mood. Like warm-ups, I find them really difficult, but I still go on and carry on and try and get through all of it, and I don't really give up that much. I always turn up on time, and just generally try and have a good time with it, because a lot of dance is portraying your emotions and stuff like that, and putting your own thoughts and feelings into the music, and your body language shows that other your body movements speak. So if you're in grumpy moods, your movements show that. So I think I always try and feel happy, and I try and feel professional, and I try and feel like I'm always doing something, because that helps my performance along. And that's about it for my evaluation. Thank you for listening, and that's everything.